Traditionally, for training, you'd be TDY and sit in a classroom similar to this for about a week or so. You'd have an instructor presenting things through PowerPoint, through video, through media. Towards the last couple of days, let's face it, you wouldn't quite be fully engaged. You'd be worried about the trip home, about your family, about your office, the work that's piling up for you when you get back. In our blended learning platform, we do our best to take these concerns away. Now, there's two aspects of it. There's a synchronous as well as an asynchronous model. Okay, the synchronous is basically you have to attend at a specific time. These are going to be webinars with your instructor, and you're going to get some face-to-face interaction with them on a weekly basis. The asynchronous component is your coursework, your readings, activities that you can do on your own when you find 10 or 15 minutes here and there. We use two different platforms to get these missions accomplished. The first one is DCO. The second one is Blackboard. I'm going to walk you through what each of these accomplishes for you. One of the main differences that you'll find between this and computer-based training courses that you might have had in the past is the web video. Basically, this is a pretty much face-to-face interaction with your instructor. So where you actually have somebody real-time, a real live living person instructing you in the course materials rather than just pushing a button and hoping you get the right answers. Your main interaction with the instructor as well as with other students is going to be via chat pod. Now, most of you are familiar with chat pods. It's like updating your status on Facebook. You just type in what your question is or what's on your mind as far as when we ask you a question. From time to time, your instructor is going to ask you yes or no questions. And rather than seeing yes or no answers scroll by at about 100 miles an hour on the chat pod, what we'll ask you to do is a status check. Let's walk you through some of the things that you can take.
First things first, you'll see an icon with a guy who's got his hand raised, and this is obviously a I've got a question icon. If you press this button, it kind of immediately alerts the instructor that you have a question, and then you can go ahead and type it in the chat pod. Then, if you'll notice a drop-down menu beside him, you'll have a little bit more specific things. An agree, a disagree, a step away, and a couple of other options to let you interact directly with the instructor.
One thing that you'll typically see in our webinars is an attendee list. Now, basically, it's a graphical representation of who your classmates are, who's in the webinar with you. And there's a couple of other functionalities that we can do with it too. Let's walk through those.
One of the most important features of the attendee list is the ability to start a private chat or a private conversation with either your peers or with the instructor. Now, we do recommend that you have discussions with your peers, but please try and stay on topic. I mean, after all, you are in class. A quick indicator that you have a private chat pending for you is this little golden tab that will appear immediately below the chat pod. If this tab is glowing gold, click on it and you'll be able to chat back directly to the person that sent you a private message.
Another useful tool your instructor has is a poll pod question. Now, a poll pod question is just that. It's a poll pod. Basically, there will be a question with several varied answers, a multiple choice answer, if you will. And what we do is we use these to kind of, gauge answers and gauge percentages of the class that agree with one opinion or another. From time to time, your instructor will change his view to a presentation view. While this may look like your ordinary PowerPoint presentation, there are a couple of differences. Number one, you're still going to have the chat pod so you can interact directly with the instructor. You're still going to have the attendee list so you can chat with other students while the presentation is going on. And the instructor is still going to be asking you questions regarding the slides. So pay attention.
Hey, As long as he's got Blackboard up on his presentation view, let's take a look at some of the things that you're going to need to be familiar with in this system. First and foremost, you're going to need a username and a password. Don't worry, our expert registration team will send these to you via email. Once you do get logged in, the main page is full of lots and lots of information. If you look on the left-hand side, one of the most important things under Tools is going to be Grade Center. This is going to allow all you guys that want to keep track of your grades real-time access to the activities that you completed and the activities that you still have left to do. Now on the far right-hand side, you'll see the courses that you're enrolled in. Now, I have several courses that I'm involved with, but you as a student will probably only have one, maybe two tops. When you click on one of the courses you're enrolled in, you'll go to a landing page, and typically it'll look something like this, with announcements in the center, and off to the left-hand side, a navigation pane. You'll notice that if you hover between the announcements and the navigation panel, you'll get a gray bar that will allow you to remove the navigation panel. Now, if your view for some reason pops up and you don't have the navigation panel, simply hover over to the far left of the screen and you should be able to reactivate it, like this. While you're in the navigation panel, you should be able to see pretty much all the components of the course that you'll be able to work on online. Now, again, keep in mind that different courses have different requirements, but don't worry. Once you get to your live I&O session with your instructor, they'll be more than happy to walk you through the course specifics. On behalf of all our instructors, I'd like to thank you for your attention through our short walkthrough of these platforms, and wish you success on completion of your course.